always, despite your prep, does tend to have its own energy. So, very quickly, for those who don't know anything about me, I met a lady the other day, and she's very surprised to know that I'm not actually a professional meditator or fully into healing or any of that. My background is strategy and marketing. I'm a marketing manager, MBA in marketing, and I've been doing that for 39 years. But along the way, in 2003, because of some deep financial setbacks when my business collapsed, uh, I went very heavily into spirituality. And a year later, I was introduced without my specific request or anything. It just happened to me. I was introduced to the Kundalini energy. And for about 19 or 20 years after that, I had a live meditation where I used to work with people one to one live. And it was the same, it was unchanged for that period of time. And I remember being quite frustrated in recent years because I had no idea why this was happening. Why was I even doing the meditation? What it meant? And I didn't have any answers. And then a year ago, a lady called Antonina joined our group, and she did some work on me, and I started getting answers almost immediately. And ever since that time till now, I would think almost every week there are additions to the meditation information I get. I may channel something and do it in the meditation, and I get an answer or an explanation for why that's happening within days and weeks after that. So there's been a tremendous transformation in the last 12 to 18 months. But before that, I literally did the same thing, just, I suppose, preparing myself, getting my energy ready, driving out all the kinks in me, because when you have this kind of power, you tend to become a bit arrogant as well. And I think I went down that route and many others. And once all that was out of me, I think the universe decided I was ready to take this to a much higher, more responsible level. So this is how this work came about. It's something I didn't work for. It's something I didn't know about or choose consciously. It just happened. From whatever I gather, I'm one of the very, very few people on this planet who can do this work. Although many people claim to work with life force energy and so on, I haven't really seen people do exactly what I do. And I'll tell you in a few slides why that is so important. But let me go back to the first slide. Over time, these are the five meditations which have evolved. One is the original creator meditation, where, if you remember, we had Babaji and we used to go to him and give our request to him for creation and manifestation. Over time, that evolved into some segmented meditations. And a very popular one is what I call the second chakra meditation. And it was aimed specifically at raising energy and vibration. And the reason for that is, when you have a high energy and vibration, you reach a creator state much more easily. And when you're in a high vibratory state, a lot of things automatically improve for you. It's very hard to be depressed, low vibratory, attract negative things in your life, and so on. More recently is something I've started called the healing frequency meditation, which involves working with DNA. Um, when you work with the root chakra, as the magma transmutes in your body, there's a pulsing feeling. That pulsing, which I think 90% of women would feel, a few may not, but it probably still exists, is nothing but the transmutation of wave energy into matter in your body. And that splits up into two different uh, parts. One is a vibrational frequency, which you feel as a pulsing, and the other is heat. Now, this vibrational frequency, which you feel as pulsing, is the most important healing frequency you can ever receive. It's that important. It's the most important. And why is that so? It's so because, number one, you generate it internally. It's not external, like, say, a sound healing. And number two, it's done at a specific frequency by divine intelligence for every organ in your body that requires healing. Now, for example, in sound healing, you may have something at 525 hertz, and that's understood to be a good frequency for the body in general. But your lungs or liver or kidneys operate on frequencies which are different from that. In fact, no two organs are probably on the same frequency. And to add to the complication, no two people have identical frequencies. There are always small differences. So when you generate it internally yourself, you leave it to divine intelligence to send it to the correct organ when and where it's required, which is why it makes it the most powerful healing possible. And you don't really need to go outside to pop pills and do stuff, because I'm not telling you this is medical advice, and I'm not telling you don't go to a doctor, but doctors have been trained to do surgeries. They've spent a lot of money learning their craft, and they've been trained to prescribe medication, and that's what they do. But the body also has the capacity to heal itself. Most of our cells regenerate within 3 days to 90 days in cycles. So you can have a completely new body in between 90 days to up to 7 years, a completely new body. So this is something that's very, very powerful if you understand how to use it. Is everyone with me so far?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Mhm.
I can't see also,
Yeah,
I just need
yes.
occasional feedback. Yeah. So the fourth meditation is more esoteric, and it's the quantum creation meditation. I take people into the quantum field after raising their vibration. Uh, we also have something called the source sun, which brings in triangles, which are sacred geometry in your body. And these triangles create a Merkaba, because one's an upward triangle, another's a downward triangle. So it creates a four-pointed tetrahedron, which is your vehicle to get into the quantum effortlessly. And you create there by being in a high vibratory state, visualizing what you want and seeing it being created next to you. In the old law of attraction, which was some years ago and now considered old energy, you actually had to magnetize what you wanted and pull it to you. So that implied separation. It implied what you wanted was not part of you. But in quantum creation, everything that you need, want, or require is already in your field right next to you. And when your vibration matches that, you bring it down into physical reality. So that's the scientific theory behind that. And the fifth one is Tantra meditation, which is extremely, extremely powerful, and it's designed to take people into what I call beyond orgasmic bliss. Uh, uh, it's a state way beyond orgasm where you feel extremely peaceful, at one with source. Um, you see powerful golden light inside of you. And these are actual feedback I get from my Tantra group. So I don't feel it because I'm channeling it, but this is what the feedback is. So these are the five meditations. Now let me get on to the next point. Uh, some months ago, I'd never talked about my work, but I decided to put it online, on, when I say online, on Facebook, uh, late December. And I had three or four women, none of them who are active in our group, uh, asked me, why do I work only with women and not men? And I don't know why they asked that question, because they don't meditate. Uh, Although one or two have come once or twice, but I guess it was just to try to wave the flag of gender equality. And there's a reason why I don't do that. And the reason is that men don't have powerful second chakras. Women have traditionally, historically, across time and space, always been a much more powerful uh, gender. And they've been the ones in charge of procreation, healing, nurturing. Uh, they've been the goddesses, the priestesses. So they have had the power, and that power has been suppressed by women, by men in the last 600 years. Uh, there was a time in the 1500s, starting in Switzerland, where a lot of women were accused of witchcraft. And which is not a bad word, actually. It means a powerful woman, but it's become a negative term. So they women who are competing with the church in selling herbal potions and thereby taking some of the church's revenue away from them were branded witches, and some who were not, some who were quite innocent, were also branded witches, and they were all killed quite brutally, beaten black and blue, and then burnt at the stake. And if you see traditional depictions in cartoons and caricatures, you'll see witches with cats around them, and a lot of the time the witches have a lot of bruises on their faces. And that's because of the beating. And the cats are around because cats get attracted to this energy. And whenever I do a meditation with women with cats, the cats come and sit quite close to the scene of action. I've had cats come and look into the camera and directly at me. So it's quite amazing the way cats pick up this energy. So this is why I work with women, because they can hold the power, they can hold the vibration, they can stay in mild orgasmic bliss for hours, if not days. Men can hold it for a couple of hours at most. So my mission is to make powerful women more powerful, and I have the right to choose what I want to do. Right. So this is what I want to do. I want to make powerful women more powerful, so they can go and make an impact in the world. And that's why I work with women. So what we're really doing is making lead into gold. This energy, this meditation, which I used to think was good at one time for 20 years only to make women aroused, that was my simplistic thinking, is actually so powerful that it can dissolve trauma literally in one sitting. Somebody can go for years to a therapist and keep talking about their story, but the actual underlying cause is an energetic imbalance which can be corrected literally in 20 minutes. So that's the power of energetic alchemy. So there are three steps. You raise the energy to a high vibratory state, which you're all familiar with, using the root and second chakras and the heart chakra. Then you purify things, because whenever you raise a vibration, there's always going to be a counter reaction, right? Nothing is one way. So there's a cleansing that happens through the energetic shower of of pink light and healing, and from the womb and yoni. And you will also get tests from the real world in your real life about areas where you claim to be competent in. So if you say you're a relationship expert, it's very likely you'll get tested in relationships. Or if you're a money coach, you'll get tested in money. I had a client, somebody I was working with, whose accounts got frozen overnight for no reason. So you get all these strange tests just to test and show how you overcome them. And then once you conquer that, you're then qualified to go and advise others. So I've had my share of setbacks all the time, let me tell you. And the third and final step is alchemy. So that's the creative phase. When you pass the first two stages, you reach the stage of high vibration between 500 to 800 hertz. And that's the time you can become a healer. You can have energy flowing through your palms. You can create effortlessly. You can create the life you want, which is what my goal is for many of you to create. And I've had many small successes, but there's a reason why there are no big successes yet, and I'll come to that shortly. So you then have the power to do exactly what you want and not have life happen to you. So these are the three steps to creating this. Now, is this the only way? No, it isn't the only way. This is the way I know of. Uh, I think steps two and three are the same for most procedures. You can raise your energy through dance, you can raise your energy through Kundalini yoga, through breath work, through so many other methods. The difference between those and mine is mine takes 3 to 20 minutes, and most of the other methods can take years of work. Some people try to do it working with the mind, and that's one of the most difficult things to conquer. I would think that it's much easier working through the body and controlling the mind once your body raises its vibration to a high level, and then the mind is easier to control rather than trying to conquer the mind, which is a very slippery fish. So, going on to the next slide, the power of women is sexual energy, and it because of the power, so many women have a lot of shame and guilt around it, and it's been only the women's issue. Yeah? If you look at the cartoon, the guy is smug as a rug. It's the woman who's like knocked out. So in her, when it's unleashed correctly, it's a very powerful erotic force that has a lot of power, and it can literally save this planet. And it's a real gift because it's something that is part of you. You don't have to go anywhere else to get it. You don't have to do any other work to get it. All you have to do is work with your second chakra in whichever means or modality you want. You don't have to do my meditation, but if you can open up and channel and harness the energy and the power in your second chakra in a constructive way, you can you can move the world, you can rock the world. And one would think, oh, I could do a lot of I could do a lot of negative stuff then. No, but you can't, because to get to that stage, you have to be high vibrational. It's very difficult to open the chakra up in a low vibrational state because you stay low vibrational. Then you can't really create. You can just use that chakra a lot, like some women do. Many women are stuck in that low vibrational energy because they don't know how to get to the high vibration stage. So I hope everyone's with me so far. So here are some common terms which may be new to some of you that I use in the meditation. And if you want to know of terms I have not put here, please, raise your voice and tell me about it. Yeah. So magma is the lava at the core of the earth. And we work with the magma because it's a very pure, very visceral uh, energy. And anchoring oneself at the core is the deepest grounding you can get. And my meditation just evolved in that manner, from anchoring to going down actually to the magma, and then to working with it. And I found it had a great response with women. They found it very easy to feel the heat, to feel the pulsing, to feel the cleansing of the womb, and so on. And there are women on Instagram who claim to do womb cleansing, charging quite a lot of money for it, when we do it in the magma in literally, like, 2 minutes without any side effects. So the perineum is the strip of skin between the yoni or vagina and anus. And if you, during the root chakra opening, place your middle or forefinger on the perineum, you will tangibly feel a pulsing. And that's the pulsing that's used to send energy to the internal organs. I don't really ask people to do that anymore. I used to do it at one time. But now a lot of the women who are regular have reached a stage where they don't need to use their hands at all. Some women like to do it, some don't. And it really is a matter of how comfortable you are with the way the energy is flowing in you. And everyone finds their own, middle path. So mob is a term I use, uh, which stands for mild orgasmic bliss. And it's literally a stage of vibration just before a complete orgasm. And from whatever I know, beings on the other side are in this state of mild orgasmic bliss all the time, which is why I decided that that would be the level of vibration we needed to get to as well. Now, of course, some of our experts in the group have reached high orgasmic bliss and extreme orgasmic bliss, and good luck to them. They enjoy it. But if the average could be mild orgasmic bliss, I'm very happy because that is what I call the creator state. That is a state where your vibration is high enough to carry out healing powerfully, to carry out your creation powerfully, to stay in a state of high vibration where you attract things to you effortlessly. You attract opportunities, you attract the right people, the right frequency of people, the you just become very lucky at what you do, and so on. Cosmic lingam is a Sanskrit term for penis, and cosmic is from the cosmos. And there are two reasons why this is introduced in the meditation. And by the way, I have to say, as an aside, in my group meditation on Tuesdays, since the last month, uh, there is no, um, let me say, under 13 inappropriate word used at all. This is because they're literally 13-year-olds of some members who attend the meditation and love it. And I decided before that I would keep the meditation, um, open to any age who wants to experience it, as long as they are interested. And I cleaned up all the language. The one thing I cannot control is the energy. So it's possible that a young child might feel arousal or related energies, or they may not. I don't know. And if they do, it has to be explained to them by the mother about what it is and how to use it. I can't do that. So, anyway, Cosmic Lingam is something I created because when we create or try to, uh, in meditation, do a creation, we're doing it you're doing it as a woman, a female energy, right? But to create, you need a Shiva Shakti, you need a male energy also, which is why the cosmic lingam was originally introduced to be in the woman so that there's the fusion of Shiva Shakti, which then creates the union, which is perfect for creation. It was also inspired by one of the ladies who I used to work with earlier before it went online. And one day she texted me, and we used to work one to one at the time. And she texted me and said, I felt like I had an elephant cock in me. It was rather graphic, but that's what she texted. And what she meant is she felt a huge lingam in her energetically. I mean, I was not even aware of it. As these things happen in energy. And that gave me the inspiration for creating this. And now, why the size? I mean, are we obsessed with having some huge apparatus inside us? No, we're not. The size is a metaphor for power, and the yoni accommodating that power is the metaphor for you can expand to any level to take in all the power you need and to channel and harness that power to raise your energy. So that's the full explanation of why the cosmic lingam is used, but now it's only in one-to-ones. It's not in the group meditations on Tuesdays. It's in the Tantra meditation and in the one-to-ones at times where required. So I hope this clears up a little bit of light on that subject. So this is what the magma looks like. It's dark orange. It's got this black carbon, which is why the carbon throws up that sacred ash, which covers you when you stand at the bank of the magma. And because of this raw visceral power, this transmutes the low vibratory frequencies in your body, because each cell in your body is electrical, and it enters the electrical cell, removes the lower frequencies, and replaces it with this. And those of you all who have been through this have probably actually felt it. And it's energy, so that's how it works. So that is roughly a background of the whole thing. And so I want to go through the steps of the meditation just so that you understand uh, how it works. So we start with 3 ohms, and it should be 3 deep breaths as well, which Cassie reminded me today. And I would encourage everybody to chant an ohm as well with their sound off, simply because the sound of ohms expands your energy field 10x. It's a specific number, 10 times. So it's that powerful. The next step is, whether it's a one-to-one or a group, we resonate together. So the energies of all the participants bond together to make a powerful unified field. And in that vortex, you place your request for manifestation, and the chances of it being created are much more when it's more than one person. The more people, the better. Then there's grounding in the magma, and the words specifically used are you're safe, you're protected, you're loved, and you're blessed. And you are. You actually feel that. Then you go down to the magma. I don't use the word naked anymore. Somebody objected to it, and I don't know why, because I don't see how the ash is going to cover you if you're wearing clothes. But anyway, uh, you stand in the magma and you allow the ash to cover you. The ash then transmutes into your cellular structure, as I just explained, replacing the low frequency vibrations. Your whole body becomes orange, when you look at it through your third eye. And then you lie down, open your legs, and allow the magma to come in between your legs on your root chakra. That's when the pulsing starts. You can accentuate it by putting your finger on your perineum or not. It's entirely up to you. I don't instruct it anymore. The energy flows up for healing. The heat builds up at the base of your belly, and that sent up the chakras to open them. Then we work on the second chakra. We work on the heart chakra. Sometimes the solar plexus. Now there is the twin helical spiral of DNA on your spinal cord, which is very important at this point of time with the way the energies are changing. I used to do the source sun on the downward triangle, upward triangle to avoid controversy. I've removed it from the group meditation. And once energies are raised with all these methods, sometimes the cosmic lingam comes in. Once the energies are high enough, then I take you to a state of what I call integration, where the energies integrate in your body, where your neural circuitry and pathways are made deeper so that you can access the state on your own as well. And then we go into a state called deep rest. And I was taken to the quantum field earlier, but now I do it in a flotation chamber or a isolation pod, which is jet black inside. It's hermetically sealed. And I find people love that stage because they go into this deep rest because you feel a bit drowsy after the power of the energy. And during that state, it's very useful to visualize what you want. Your vibration then automatically aligns to what you want to create, and that gets created. I recently had a case, and I think the lady's going to write a testimonial about it, where somebody wanted a house to rent, a particular house in a market where there was no housing available. She also wasn't extremely sound financially. So when she first applied for the house, she was rejected. So we did this work, and I said, "You're going to get the house." And she was very scared. She was crying. "I have nowhere to go." I said, "Just wait." She asked a second time, she was turned down. She asked a third time, she was turned down. Somebody else had moved into the house. And I said, "You're going to get the house." And a week later, she had the keys in her hand. So sometimes energies take time to work because time is our artificial construct. You got to give it the time, and you got to have unwavering belief. If you allow your thoughts and your beliefs to come in the way that I'm a loser, I'm not going to get it, I'm not worthy, and all of that bullshit, then all is lost. Or you create a lot of energetic interference where you have to really raise your vibration again. So have belief in the power of this work because it's powerful. And if you don't have belief in it, don't do the work. Go somewhere else and do something else. But if you're here, be 100% committed and create miracles for yourself. It's your life which is going to change, not mine. Now, on that note, I also want to add something very important. One of the reasons for this call today is that the ladies in this group tend to show up at most once a week, and some not even that often. And I find that a shame because this is like having the keys to a Ferrari and taking the bus to work. And a lot of the ladies tell me, "I'm very busy. I don't have the time. I can't meditate because I'm juggling a job and kids and cooking and all of that." And I think to myself, why can't you use this to create the life you want? Because you can. You really can. I mean, why haven't you sat down and understood what you're doing this for and what it can do for you? So the reason nothing much is happening is because you show up between 1 to 4 times a month. And the solution is very simple. The solution is you have to meditate every day. And when you do it every day, dramatic changes happen within 15 to 30 days. You don't even have to wait very long. And there are 3 or 4 ladies I've been doing this with already, and they will be validating what I've been saying. So you have two options. Set your alarm, use one of the recordings. I can make a special one for you all if you all want, and do it yourself. Or I'm going to start a group. It's going to be a paid group, but it's going to be very inexpensive. It's going to be at 7 o'clock Europe time and about 7 o'clock US time. But it's going to be East Coast, so it's going to be a bit tough for you, Kondura. Uh, and either do it in the group, do it on your own, and for um, women who have high income, high value businesses, there's a one-to-one offer as well. What's this going to cost? It's going to cost $100 a month for the group, and I don't think that's a lot because it's 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day, and guaranteed to give you massive results. But there's no compulsion about doing anything. It's do it on your own. You already know the framework, the structure, right? So the thing is consistency and repetition are the key to success. And if you want to be an elite athlete, you keep training. If you want to be a writer, you keep writing. If you want to be whatever, you have to practice, right? So you can't create your life by showing up once or twice a month and expecting things to change. All you're going to do is reach a state of nice arousal and walk off and forget everything the next day. So, this is my plea to you. Please meditate every day and then see the transformation. So, this slide shows you what the Agni is the Indian word for fire. This is actually a fire from a Shiv Puja on Shivratri, which I had taken many years ago in a temple in Goa. And this is the kind of fire you light at the base of your belly and which you try to extend up your chakras. This visual is the four-pointed tetrahedron, which is visualized when you do the two triangles with the source sun, and it's also known as the Merkaba, and that's the holy chariot using spirit, which carries you into ascension. This slide explains more about the Merkaba. Ka is spirit, Ba is body, so it's a spirit body surrounded by counter-rotating fields of light, and it's spirals of energy as in DNA. So you can see the triangles on the illustration on the right, the upward triangle and the downward triangle. Now, one of the last few slides is the DNA itself. So, in the last month or two, I've been talking about DNA and working with it. Some of you all have actually palpably felt it in your spine. And the HeartMath Institute, which is very reputed in the US, has research that demonstrates you can change your DNA. You can change the vibrational aspect. And when you have love and compassion, it expands. When you're in low frequency, it contracts. So it has a direct impact on your health and your ability to create, on your state of mind. So working with this energy on your DNA is a shortcut, it's a hack, because all the other methods that are in vogue on the internet are very convoluted. And if you feel you prefer convolution, do that. This or you use vibration and energy to raise your energy and do it this way. So the one of the other aspect is, whatever we do is not isolated. We're all interconnected beings, right? Because everything is energy, and any energy, if it's energy, it's not your energy in a cocoon. You don't have a force field around you where only your energy reflects off multiple mirrors. Our energies are interconnected, and I remember years ago in the late 90s, I heard Deepak Chopra live for the one and only time in my life in Delhi, in India. And he was talking about the microcosm and the macrocosm. And when we take a breath in, we can breathe in the rainforest in the Amazon. And this was 97. And I was thinking, man, this is heavy shit. I don't understand any of it. And as not into spirituality in those days, as a total hardcore uh, materialistic person. But now those words echo in my ears. And, we are connected to all sentient beings. If we want, we can communicate with our animals because we communicate through our DNA. In a slide or two from now, I'm going to show you how. Because have you all ever wondered how do you all feel? How does Kondora sitting in LA feel the Kundalini or the life force or the bioenergy, or whatever term you want to give it? How does she feel it sitting there when I'm sitting here in Switzerland after it's more than 6,000 kilometers? And the answer is we're all interconnected through our DNA, through what is known as the biological internet. And it's not just humans interconnected, we are also interconnected with the sentient world, which is animal, plant kingdom, and mineral kingdom. So that has a lot of importance and interest for anybody who needs clients or who does healing. And we'll come to that in a second. This is the slide. So I was just talking about that. So because of this biological internet, if we are interconnected, when we put out the request and send out the vibration of love and what we want, it attracts the right person from wherever, who we probably don't know, but finds a way to find us. And that's how they show up either on our doorstep or in person or a accidental meeting or an introduction or through social media, but that person shows up in our lives because they were meant to and we attracted them and we were meant to meet. Nothing is by coincidence. The energy is felt because of what I just explained. You connect through the DNA across the biological internet, and that's how you can send Reiki, you can send your healing energy, and if you can send, you can receive as well. Remember, it works both ways. Energy is not one way, it's always send, receive, much like, the internet, because it has a send and receive all the time. So even when I do my energy work with you ladies, I'm receiving from you all the time. So that is my energetic reward. I get your energy and you get mine because there's nobody to give me a meditation. So healing works because you are an enabler. You're a catalyst for the person being healed. Sometimes the soul doesn't want the healing, it's an experience they've chosen to go through. But if that's not the case and you have permission of the soul to give the healing, you send the light, you send the frequency, and the person does the work. You are doing nothing, you're just sending the light and frequency because somebody may be at low ebb at that time. So you raise the energy, you flood them with light, you send them the correct frequencies as best you can figure out. And the rest is done by the soul of that person, by the body of that person. So none of us are really healers, we are enablers of healing. The actual healing is always done by the soul in question. So let's keep all our egos in check. That's the reality as I understand it. How does manifestation work? I think I've covered it slightly in an earlier slide, but essentially, when you're at high vibration, if you're managed getting your thinking out of the way, I don't deserve this, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, all that should be out. Yeah. So it takes a bit of time sometimes, but you got to hold the vision without expectation and allow divine intelligence to match your vibration to the field of what you want to create. And once you get the hang of it, it's like learning how to ride a cycle. Once you get the hang of it, it works effortlessly all the time. Sometimes it may take a bit longer, sometimes it's instantaneous. I can guarantee you it happens. Let me give you another example. I gave you the example of this lady in the flat. Let me tell you about my dog. In 2020, I had a golden retriever who ate rat poison by that somebody had thrown in the forest, and it was COVID. I couldn't be with him. He was in the hospital, and unfortunately, he passed away. I was devastated because I was alone with him, and I loved him very much. He loved me. And my wife wanted another dog, and I said absolutely not. And she went ahead and found a dog online. Both dogs are rescue. A beautiful dog from Turkey called Paula. And I said, I'm not taking the dog. I'm sorry. I can't go through this trauma again. And it was less than 3 months after Lucky had passed away. So eventually she gave up and she told the care organization that we're not taking the dog. So they said, fine. And they arranged to give it to somebody else. In the meanwhile, Lucky appeared to me in a dream and I got a clear message, please take Paula from him. So I called up my wife. She was in Switzerland. I was living in Germany. And I said, okay, we'll take her. And she called the care organization and they said, I'm sorry, we've given the dog away. And like with this lady, I laughed and said, yeah, big deal. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. Because I knew Paula was going to come to me. I just knew it. I'd created it. And they rejected that person who they had assigned the dog to. And they said, okay, Paula's back in the pool. Do you still want her? We said, yes, naturally. And on Christmas Day, how apt, on Christmas Day 2020, we drove to Frankfurt Airport and picked her up. So this is how manifestation works. Even if it appears that it's not happening for you, if you hold your belief, like that guy in the picture in white, that makes the difference. Most people on this planet don't hold that belief. They give up very easily. Don't give up. Keep holding that belief. That's how you create very strongly. And not only is Paula a dog, she's one of the most amazing dogs you can ever get. In a country like Switzerland, where people don't crack a smile, every second person stops on the road to play with her, pet her, smile with her, take pictures with her, because she radiates love. She just is pure love. She just radiates it. And I think that was a great metaphor for me because I needed to crack my heart open and be more love. So it was a great gift from Lucky, my previous dog. And I'm so happy that I listened to him. So the next slide. Some women may not feel the pulsing or heat. So something wrong. Are you not getting it? See, I think the very fact you're in the group, the very fact you are at the meditation means you are meant to be there. Nobody dragged you here. You came on your own, right? So if you don't feel the pulsing or heat, sometimes it takes up to 3 sessions. If you don't feel it after that, it's likely there's a deep issue around shame or guilt. Now, people use the word, and I also used to use the word energetic block. That term is incorrect. There's no block, there's a gap. So energy flows, right? And sometimes there's a kind of roadway through a river where the waters part, like for Moses. So that's an energetic gap. And what you got to do is close the gap. And when you do, the flow resumes. So in that case, you have to contact me and figure out how that gap can be fixed. Sometimes it takes a bit of work. Sometimes there's some trauma behind it. It could be from a childhood experience. It could be from a past life. And in any case, you probably need to clear that up. Today, I had a session with Cassie and I cleared up an issue that came from maybe, 400 years ago, where I was humiliated and beaten as a servant boy by a nobleman. And I carried that seething anger with me all through those intermediate years. It came up for clearance in this lifetime. So I had this anger as a very young child as well. And I developed a very high blood pressure in my mid 20s. And I had liver problems from the age of 14. The only thing is, I didn't know liver stored anger. I didn't know that till about 2 or 3 years ago. So at the age of 61, which I am today, I finally, with Cassie's help, unrolled all of that, saw everything crystal clear, and moved that rock from my chest off, along with a number of other minor issues. And the point I'm trying to make is energy work can happen instantly with trauma, with old beliefs. You got to get to the root and knock it off. All illness, everything that you're facing, is a result of a deep seated emotion. And there's a very powerful saying, listen to your body when it whispers before your body shouts. So your body will always show you the emotion that erupts in it. And if you ignore it, then it can explode into something really life threatening. So be aware, be observant, work with it, and energetically try and solve the issue because a doctor is not trained to do this. Now, a lot of people, 90% of the world is going to laugh their guts out and say, what shit is this? Who's talking this garbage? Well, either you believe it or you don't. It doesn't cost you anything, right? I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. Please go stuff yourself with whatever you want. Those pills that you get add to the problem in your liver because your liver sees it as a toxin and tries to process that poison out. And a lot of people who never touch a drop of alcohol get cirrhosis of the liver because of the pills they're popping. So think very carefully and do your own research and then take the action that you're guided to do. I'm just giving you a point of view. I'm not a trained doctor, I'm not a trained anything. I'm a trained marketer and strategist, but this is my passion. So we're 2 minutes to the hour, and this is my last slide. What incredible timing, right? This is my bonus tip, and I love this one. So you can heal, regenerate, and rejuvenate while you sleep. One of my favorite modalities is using castor oil in your body around the liver, kidneys, eyelids, skin. It's fantastic. You can contact me offline for more info. Aromatherapy. While you're sleeping, lang lang or lavender or sandalwood or whatever in your diffuser, and you inhale that aroma and you're sleeping and your body is getting the benefits of that. Sound wave frequencies. So you can have white noise, you could have a soothing chant, you can have temple bells playing on your iPod or your iPhone. Please wear an eye mask. This costs nothing, yeah? Wear an eye mask when sleeping, even if you're in your own bed, because it just helps with so many things. I have no time to go into all of that. You want to know more? Ask me later. Eye mask, extremely important, costs you absolutely nothing. Please do it from today. And if you can and you want to, weighted blankets give you a sense of security, comfort, make you feel cozy, cuddled, warm, especially for a single person and don't want to feel alone. A weighted blanket really gives you that feeling of being cocooned. So try these out. They cost you almost nothing, most of them. In fact, none of them are expensive, in my opinion, except the weighted blanket, which is a one-time expense and it's not very expensive. And this will make a dramatic difference to the quality of your sleep, the quality of your healing, and of course, as soon as you wake up in the morning, do the meditation. And you don't need to do it for 20 minutes. You can do it for 5 minutes. You can do it for 10 minutes. Get yourself into a state of high vibration and you're off to the races. So, exactly on the hour, I'm done. And I'd love to know what you have to say.
Hi. It was very useful and interesting to have an insight, more careful insight. Also on where you started and on every phase of the meditation we do every week, and it was like it put me in a state of meditating while you were explaining.
You've been
I
somebody who's
was,
working with not
I
every day,
was
but quite often. So, why don't you share your experience?
what?
I said, you've been working with me quite a lot. Not every day, but at least once or twice a week, I think, right? It
Yes.
should be every day, but you don't have the time. So, how's it been for you? Have you seen a change? Have you seen a shift?
Yes, yes. I'm noticing it. It's always different because I go through different phases of my evolution and unlocking different traumas and unlocking different insights. So it's always different, but there's always a shift. Yes, it's improving week after week. Yes.
And did you find what I said interesting and informative? I mean, was anything new for you?
Yes. Yes, yes.
There was.
As
Okay.
you as you told me, um hearing things, listening to things once again always gives you different insight in a different phase of your path toward your evolution. It on every path, on every stage of your evolution, you always get something different, even from the same information.
Absolutely. There's no question of that. I'm
Yes.
glad you made the time then, Gio. The beautiful Condora. How was it for you? Did you fall
Um,
asleep?
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I loved all the explanations, and I loved also how you shared about Paula and how, like, you really didn't want, another dog, which I totally understand. I actually recently was at a poetry evening, and this lady had just lost her dog, and she'd written a poem, And she said it was the worst loss like that she'd ever had in her life, like worse than any human loss that she'd had. And just how things turned out that Paula was there to help you open your heart even more. So that was really beautiful. And she is so gorgeous. I totally understand how everybody stops and talks to her. And I just think animals are so how could I say, so important in our life. And just sorry, this sounds like I'm getting off tangent a little bit, but I spent a day yesterday. It was such a beautiful, beautiful manifestation of this amazing Russian artist who actually paints the most incredible paintings ever about kind of like animals and nature. And it's actually to awaken people to the importance of our connection with nature. But anyway, so yeah, I love that. And then you said something else. Oh yeah, just the castor oil thing. I'm really into castor oil as well. I think it's absolutely wonderful, and it has so many. There's actually a lot of videos on YouTube talking about all the different like how do you say properties of using castor oil in so many different ways. So yeah, you have so you, and also I love how you share your gifts and you are so committed. You talked about us being committed to the process, and you're a wonderful example of the commitment that you give to this group, which is just like always mind-blowing. Like it's hard to keep up with just your how much of yourself you pour into this group. And you know, it's one thing when people teach stuff and talk about it, but it's another thing when you know they're really walking the talk. And I know that that's what you do, and I just so appreciate your candidness and your frankness and your openness and your honesty and who you are.
Thank you. It's very nice to receive. In fact, just today, I had this really powerful, almost 3 hour session with Cassie, who's a quantum consciousness person. And this topic came up. And I used, before I got into this anger issue, which she resolved for me, uh, I have this expectation of where I want all the ladies to be, and they are here. And there's this huge gap. And I used to get very frustrated and angry because of the gap. And I didn't see the the actions in the way I wanted. But the poor ladies don't understand what I want because they are in their own space, which is why I made this video today, which hopefully will give some light on how powerful this work is. But I realized that there's no point getting worked up because everyone moves at their own pace, and some people will take it seriously, and some people won't, and some people aren't interested, and all of that. And the thing is to just allow, to flow, to be allowing, and actually, towards the end of the meditation, we created my inner child, and it was this beautiful 3, 4 year old bouncy baby as large as a mountain. And she said, you got to be just like that playful little baby because that's who you really are. Start your usual jokes and being lighthearted and be love, and the women will understand and possibly align themselves. And if they don't, they don't. So I've just decided to be allowing and flow and work with whoever wants that power because you can't drag a horse to the water and force them to drink, right? They got to be thirsty. So that's it, lovely, beautiful ladies. Kondora, we'll connect offline and fix up some time. And thank you for showing up. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Lots of
Thanks
love,
so
ladies.
much. Bye.
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 Bye.